Hello, welcome to Sportsbook Review. I'm Nigel Seeley and we're talking French Open tennis and we reached the semi-final stage already. Where's that gone? Anyway, I'm delighted to say joining me today to look ahead to what the games we do know. There's a rain delay obviously in the men's, but we'll look ahead to it is Alex from Need for Tips, the usual regular on the show. Hello Alex, how are you?
Hey, rain delay. What say more? Rain delay. I'm expecting for the other two quarterfinals to finish, but we have three semifinals that we can talk, and also the other two matches that will gonna take place tomorrow. They will finish tomorrow.
We'll look ahead to those as well. And also joining me is at Mr. Whale Kappa, the man who I want to be, my new hero, looking very cool in over there in California. How are you, sir?
I'm well today. I couldn't be happier with the results so far. This last couple days has just worked out perfectly for me. So I'm looking forward to the home stretch here to finish strong.
Obviously, none of that. We don't want to hear about how good you've been on Sloane Stephens and all that. We'll come on to that a bit of gloating in a minute. And finally,
you know what?
we have a guest.
I should take this chance to apologize to the listeners. I said 6-2, 6-2 Muguruza. It was 6-2, 6-1. That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
right.
Yes,
useless.
Yeah,
I'm surprised we'd have you back on. I'm surprised they let us come back, Alex. Why would you let him on?
You have so many followers. You have so many followers, and you missed a game. You must be ashamed.
Terrible.
It's embarrassing.
Terrible.
I don't even know. I might hang it up.
And joining us today, you've got some tough shoes to fill in, is one of our viewers on Twitter, Mr. Taif Taka. Good morning or good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Very good morning and a good afternoon and a good evening to everyone here, all you lovely folks, all the lovely viewers around the world watching. Thank you very much for having me. Nice to be reunited with Alex and Whale. And let's crack this. Let's get it going. I'm excited.
Nice to be reunited then, but you didn't really want to be with me. All right, thanks. No problem. I understand. No, it's not a problem. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
You're my fearless leader and idol. Don't say that, Nigel.
I feel like I'm joking. Anyway. No, this is anyway. We had a bit of banter on Twitter in the last couple of weeks. Taif is a very good expert on tennis. I'm very interested in his views and also the panel's views on what's going to be a very exciting day of tennis. Let's start off with the women's. I think it's probably fair to go women's first. We know the two semi-final lineup. We're going to start off with an all-American affair. Sloane Stephens against Madison Keys. I'm going to start off with you, Whale Kappa. You've obviously very heavily in the Sloane Stephens camp. Are you still confident of that? Obviously, she'd come on the back of a brilliant win in the US Open final against Madison Keys. Nerves got to her on that occasion. But I know you. I know you're not. I know you're not. I don't think it's going to be as one-sided. But are you expecting Stephens to get through to another major final?
I am. I love her. The way that she's been playing in this tournament has just been spectacular. It's been inspiring. Her play against Kasatkina was outstanding. She's gaining steam. She's peaking. She's finding her form. And it's exciting to watch, and I fully expect to see her in the finals. Madison Keys, I have to give her props for getting this far. It's impressive. I don't think anyone thought she could win her quarter coming into this tournament, and yet here we sit. She's in the semifinals. Rematch of the U.S. Open, which was a letdown after a pretty exciting tournament. I thought the women's final was a letdown where Sloane Stephens just dominated 6-3, 6-0, and you could kind of feel once the first set slipped away a little bit from Madison Keys in that match, she just kind of fell apart mentally. And you see that a little bit with Keys in general in the big moments. I think in her match against Kerber at the Australian Open, it was the same sort of thing. She gave up a little bit of ground, and then she just could never re-find her form. So much of her game depends on her hitting her shots to exact locations on the court, really just being dialed in. And when the pressure is a little bit higher and the attention is, when the tension is high, she seems to yield. And so I would expect to see Stephens get through here, even if Keys can kind of find some room early in the match because she's playing well, and you got to tip your hat to her. I do like Stephens, and I do think the price was a little short as it opened. It's probably taking some money. Do you have current odds?
She's around 145. I think it's 155. I think that's a bit. I think. Well, she's on what we've seen so far. She's worthy favourite on the surface, but that does look a bit short to me. The thing is here, Alex. Though, I mean, if you look at the head-to-heads between the two, it's 2-0. Been very easy wins for Sloane Stephens. Very, very easy wins both games. She hasn't taken a set off of Madison Keys. Are we looking for a relatively straightforward afternoon, or do you think it would be a little bit tighter than the odds suggest?
No, I don't think that it will be tighter than the odds suggest. I think that Madison Keys was dominant till now in this tournament, but she never played such an opponent like Sloane Stephens till now. Sloane Stephens is huge favorite. I'm going to take her at -2.5 on the Asian handicap in number of games in this match. I think that she will extend her winning streak against Madison Keys to 3-0 after winning in the final of the U.S. Open. I think that she's all in right now. We will have for sure one American in the final, but I'm positive that that one will be Sloane Stephens. And I know Wellcapper has a long shot, has a ticket. He's holding a ticket on Sloane Stephens winning the whole thing. Hopefully Halep will beat her in the final. Hopefully he will hedge going in the final with Halep against Stephens. But yes, Stephens is the favorite here. Impressive match against Daria Kasatkina. Daria Kasatkina who won against Wozniacki, and Sloane Stephens just lost 4 games against Daria Kasatkina. Really, really impressive tennis from her. And I think that she will be at the same level tomorrow. It's weird to see that they are scheduled at the second semi-final on Philippe Chatrier, given the fact that the first semi-finals, the two girls, Garbine Muguruza and Halep, played today, they should play last because Sloane Stephens and Madison Keys are not tired at all. They have one day in between the matches. Plus, they are the two the two men's quarterfinals before that. So yeah, Sloane Stephens for me -2.5 games Asian handicap.
So both going for Sloane Stephens. Taif, I mean, if you look at the head-to-head between the two, it's very commanding to Sloane Stephens. But the year form is very similar. Madison Keys 10-4 on clay, Sloane Stephens 9-4 on clay. Not much in the rankings, not much between the two of them. But yet we have an overwhelming favourite on this. Do you think that's a fair call?
Look, the only way I'd make a case for Keys is if you're going to consider the fact that they're very friendly and are very familiar with each other, and that what was I going to say? The only way I would make a case for Keys is forgive me.
Drop 20 units on her tomorrow.
You're lost for words. You're lost for words on the
revenge angle.
No. Yes, exactly. Whale, thank you for rescuing me. Yes, the revenge angle. If you're going to consider a revenge angle, Whale, you saved me. Yes, exactly. The revenge angle from the final, from her final loss at the U.S. Open. That's the only way I would, consider. But the thing is that Keys is a very one-dimensional player. And Sloane Stephens just has way too much variety for her. And you can't expect someone like Keys to go and hit 80% first serve average for the entire match. She's not going to be able to keep that kind of intensity and kind of percentage.
So all the panel here going for Sloane Stephens, a rather one-sided panel with Sloane Stephens here. I pretty much agree, but I think 155 is mighty short. I mean, I've been impressed with Keys, and I'll tell you what, I think Keys has put herself as a major candidate for Wimbledon in a few weeks' time, and what we've seen here, I think that all bodes well for her at SW19 rather than the French Open. I agree, Sloane Stephens probably will win. I'm probably starting towards Alex's view with the -2.5 at 155. I couldn't play. Let's move on to the second semi-final. Very interesting, this one. Halep against Muguruza. We know that Muguruza has been playing some exceptional tennis in this build-up. She was brilliant earlier on today. But now she's the favourite to win this game with the bookies. Now, is that wrong? Is that something that we should be capitalising? Now, I'm going to come to Alex at the end here because I know exactly where he's going to be on this one. But let's start with you, Taif. What do you think? I mean, do you think Muguruza has shown enough this season to be favourite on clay against Halep? I'm not so sure.
No, of course Halep should be favoured here. I really hope Muguruza wins this match because I have a Sloane Stephens future at 40-1, which is the only thing that's going to salvage anything for this tournament.
I can't hear him. Anyway, I think you're on mute, Taif. I think you mute yourself,
No. we can hear him. I think that is from the studio. Keep talking, Taif. Doesn't matter if Nigel doesn't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, right. So, Halep Muguruza. You know, Halep. It's just I don't know. This is Muguruza's been flying under the radar, but I don't think she's really been tested so far in the tournament.
Now you're muted. Yes.
And Muguruza does have an advantage in the head-to-head over her, although she did lose to her in clay. So you know, Halep is on a mission here. She wants this title and she wants to avenge that the heartbreaking loss she had last year. So I don't think this is going to be a very I think a long drawn out affair. I could see this Halep in 3 or 2 very tight sets.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the last time they met was in 2017 in Cincinnati. Muguruza won in straight sets, 6-1, 6-love. I mean, that's. I know that was not on her favourite service, not on the clay, but the only time they have met on clay, Halep has won. Halep has won that occasion in 3 sets, like you say. But they're all quite one-sided sets. It was 6-3, 6-1, 6-3. So, I mean, what I've seen this tournament, I think Muguruza's been very impressive, but I definitely don't think she should be favoured this game. Well, Kappa, tell me, am I right or wrong?
I think you're pointing out the side that I'm going to end up on, which is Halep. My opinion on Halep coming into this tournament was that she was going to figure out a way to get it done. I think that she's mentally prepared for this moment. It's fitting that to win a slam, she's going to have to beat a previous champion here at Roland Garros, and this is and potentially another slam champion in Sloane Stephens if it does work out, Stephens Halep in the final. But I think you're seeing the line makers shade in favor of Muguruza, and it makes sense. Like, I wasn't surprised when I saw the line. One reason is the head-to-head. It's a little concerning if you're a Halep backer like I'm going to be. Just the fact that she's had a tough time, getting a hold on Halep getting a hold on Muguruza in tournaments where Muguruza wasn't really playing her best. She still wasn't able to get by her is a little concerning. And then you add to that the fact that Muguruza has won this slam before, and that looks like she's got her top form back is a little bit concerning. All that said, Halep has the game to give Muguruza a much more difficult time than Maria Sharapova does. I think that if she can extend rallies, if she can extend games, if she can take numerous Muguruza service games into deuce, I think she can wear her down. I think she can wear her out. The fact that Halep played 3 sets today and Muguruza had 2 relatively short sets, I don't think is particularly meaningful, because I think Halep has the fitness to bounce back and play solid tennis match tomorrow. And I think that just if she can extend points, extend games, I would expect that she'll eventually wear her down and win something like 2-1. But this is going to be the match that decides the tournament.
So, you say that, but everyone's thought that we've had it when getting the finals, odds-on favourites in many Grand Slams before. Alex, I know you're keen on Halep. I know you're a big Halep fan, and you have been for years while I've been doing the show with you. But there's something about this Halep that, to me, that she seems more focused than I've ever seen her. She's pointing to a crowd every time. She's pointing to her coaches. She's sort of sticking her head into her brain and saying, "I've got the mental strength to win it." She seems on a mission. And I'm amazed. I am staggered that she's underdog for this game. Truly staggered what we've seen on clay this season.
I think that the book is have seen that Muguruza is playing her best tennis right now. She destroyed Sharapova. She arrived here without losing a set. Am I wrong? No, I think that I'm not wrong at all.
She is not. Hasn't dropped a set.
Without dropping a set. I think that if she will have her serve first serve percentage at a decent level, 65%, 70%, Halep doesn't stand a chance. If the rallies will be longer, and we will have 10 shots average on a rally, I think that Halep is favorite. But yes, mentally she's well prepared. I wish she will win the tournament. I don't want to go against her, but I'm forced to do it. 1.91 with Betfair right now. Muguruza seems decent price at 1.91 2 hours ago when I took the odds. I'm going against Halep. It will be a win-win situation. Either I will lose the bet and Halep will go in the final and she will have a chance for the title. Either I will win the bet and we will be all happy. But I think that Muguruza is giving everything right now. Former champion, it counts a lot to be former champion here, not to have pressure. The pressure is on Halep because she lost already 2 finals in Roland Garros so far. So always the pressure is on Halep. Muguruza has nothing to lose. They will play also the #1 WTA. Who wins this match will remain Halep on #1, or Muguruza will overcome her and Halep will go number 2. So it will be an interesting match. And again, I have a problem with the people who organized this match scheduling it first on Philippe Chatrier after the first boys quarterfinal. It will be a nice match.
So, I think the reason
that's was a shock to me. Sorry,
well, first of all, it's pretty obvious emotional hedge. It's classic emotional hedge from Alex, the Halep fan, which is understandable. Understandable. If you're gonna, this is the round to do it because again, you know, I think if Halep can overcome Muguruza, I do think she gets the better of Stevens in the final. But I think they put this match on first, one, because it's potentially going to go longer. I think they're just in general, you would expect this could go 3 sets. It could really go long. And I think they want to make sure that they get this in for sure in, you know, on the, you know, on the semifinal day. And on top of that, the fact that there's 2 U.S. women, I think they want it later for broadcasting purposes, right? NBC Sports or whoever is broadcasting this in the U.S. probably wants to make sure that the matchup of 2 U.S. women in the French Open semifinals gets. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm surprised. I'm surprised for Muguruza. Sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of the line. I didn't know Halep was the underdog in this match, but I'm pretty sure there's a reasoning for that is she struggled with Petkovic. She dropped a set and struggled against Risk in her opening match. So she hasn't exactly been...
One second. Now I'm nervous. How she struggled with Petkovic?
7-5 in the first out. 7-5 in the first.
That means struggling.
Of course. Of course, that's a struggle. 7-5 is by no means...
If Petkovic gave everything in the first set, and after that she lost 6-0 or 6-1, how she lost? What struggling you mean?
She got injured.
Come on. She could play till Sunday continuously, and Halep will beat her and repeatedly beat her.
Look, if you're measuring the caliber of player and Andrea Petkovic, who's basically a bum, playing Simona Halep, who's the #1 and elite player, 7-5 is a struggle, in my opinion. I don't know what you're seeing.
No, it's not.
Playing a player the caliber of an Alison Risk, who's outside the top 20, and dropping a set to her, and you're the world #1. If
we are talking about numbers, Wozniacki, what she did against Daria Kasatkina, who got beaten with winning just 4 games against Sloane Stevens.
We're talking about Simona Halep now.
Come on.
Not talking about Daria Kasatkina. Anyway, that's
Simona Halep
against
Angelique Kerber. Against Angelique Kerber. You saw the match today?
You saw the match today? This is perhaps the reasoning why she's an underdog in this match, because of her recent performances in the tournament. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I think
the reason why she's underdog, if I could just say so, I think she's underdog because obviously the head-to-head is 3-1 in favour of Muguruza. The fact that she beat her so convincingly in the last round, and also the other thing is that when it gets to Grand Slam semi-finals and Grand Slam finals, people are still unsure about Halep. She still has that temperament problem. And the big punters look at Muguruza, who knows that she's got huge... I don't think it's much to do with the form coming in those times. I think she may have struggled, but I think that's irrelevant. I think it's more about the betting public still has a big question mark about how fragile Halep is in big matches. And I think once she plays a Muguruza, once she plays a Serena Williams, they think that
she raises her
that
level.
she's vulnerable.
She raises her level. She
But
raises her level all the time.
Yeah, my personal opinion is that there is an overreaction on it. And I think what I've seen in Halep this year, I know admittedly she's dropped some sets, but what I've seen of her all year, her whole season has been hinging on this week. She's so determined to win a Grand Slam. And the way she's played and the way she's gesturing to the crowd and to herself, she's pumped up like I've never seen. I think it's time. If she doesn't win this Grand Slam, I don't think she ever will win a Grand Slam. It's there for her to take. I mean, probably she will probably win a Grand Slam. That's a bold statement. That's probably a bold statement. But this is her time. This is her time. This is her time.
As long as she will be mentally prepared. But I think that Muguruza is too strong right now, given the the last matches, the recent form. But one match doesn't seem with the other. We know that there are two different matches. Doesn't matter if you drop sets. Doesn't matter if you lose sets. Having the mentality and the winning mentality to come back from one set down against Kerber, that we remember what happened at the Australian Open. Again, 9-7 in the decider. What a force, what a match. Again, I think that against Kerber, she played her best. She started again, because let me say to you, Halep played 2 matches on Philippe Chatrier. The third round she played on court 18. The quarterfinals she played on Suzanne Lenglen. Tomorrow she's playing again on Philippe Chatrier. She needs some time to adapt with the field, with the court. Like that is always with Halep. She needs to find her angles. She needs to start knowing that specific court. And after that, after a few games, she will start hitting well. This is what happened also today against the Kerber.
Well, there you go.
It sounds like you're making a case for Halep.
Well,
no, I'm not making a case for Halep. I'm making a case that
sure sounds like
doesn't
it.
mean
nothing.
Man. No, nothing.
I think you think Halep is going to win.
It doesn't mean nothing to drop a set against Petkovic or against Alison Riske at the start of the tournament. That's nothing.
And also the other thing as well. A lot of players like to lose a set to get them sort of a lot of players, especially in the men's game, lose a set and then sort of come back a little bit because it gives them some extra practice on the court. So you could look at it that way. I mean, but women's tennis is well. We agree to disagree on that. But let's before we move on to the men's, let's give us our best tips on the women's semi-finals. Alex, we'll start with you.
Yes, I'm going Sloane Stephens minus 2.5 games Asian handicap at 1.8. And unfortunately, I'm going with the Muguruza, realistically talking right now. With my heart, I will always be with Halep if she will pass in the final. But I'm talking realistically now. 1.91 Muguruza to win against Halep.
Okay. Well, Kappa, what you got for us?
So the only play I have on Stevens keys is Stevens money line. And this is filling out now a 3-leg parlay. I didn't end up taking a Stevens future when we talked on Saturday. Instead, I was like, you know what? She's going to make it to the final, and then Halep is going to get her. So I put a 3-leg money line parlay together over Kontaveit, over Kasatkina, and now over Keys. I still think there's value on the money line. I think she should be closer to minus 200 or minus 250, not whatever it is, minus 155. But I'm looking for Sloane Stephens as the third leg in that parlay to pay off at something like 680, I think, of the total price of that 3-leg. And then in the Muguruza Halep match, I'm all in on Halep at this point. I'm holding 6-1 ticket for her to win the whole thing, which I'm not going to hedge at this point. I think she beats Muguruza. I think it's very difficult. It's going to be a very difficult match for her. But I'm probably going to be looking for opportunities to get more involved in her on the money line live. If she starts a little bit slow, if Muguruza gets the first break in the match, I'll probably try to get Halep at an even more favorable price. The over is probably a great look in the Halep Muguruza match. I think this is almost certainly going to go 3 sets because you're talking about a former champ here against the number 1 player in the world. This is going to be a phenomenal battle. So games over, sets over are all good looks for me. But Halep Stevens in the final is what I'm hoping for and what I'm betting on.
So there you go, Hannes. And Taif, what do you got? What are your best 2 plays in this? I know you're going quite big on the old tennis. What are you fancying this one?
I'll probably go on the over 21 for Halep Muguruza at 1.75. That makes the most sense to me out of these two matchups here. And I'll probably go on the over 20.5 for the other matchup as well, Keys and Stevens, also 1.75.
Okay, so
I think
that's always a big.
yeah.
I always like going overs on when you get to the quarterfinals, and because I think semi-finals and quarterfinals, they do pitch them quite low. I think 20.5 seems a low line. 21.5 seems quite a low
especially
line.
especially on the slower surface, it usually lends itself to going over.
Nigel,
So there we go. Now let's move on. Yes, sorry.
Nigel, sorry. Let's salute a little bit our viewers. Scott, Eric, also earlier, also Zach Jones and Drew Martins from SBR were watching us. I don't know if they're still watching us. Scott, Eric, and one question for you, Nigel, from Bill Budlicker. Nigel, is that my sensei, Lord Flash, calling you?
No, it was my son actually, and I told him not to call me for half an hour, and he's decided to call me during the thing. But I've had to put the phone down to my son. He probably wants money, so I'm glad I haven't answered it.
He said that
right.
can you call Flash and tell him that Budlicker misses him? He never answers.
I've got one of these new iPhone 10s, Alex. You've seen these iPhone 10s? They look state of the art. Look at that. Look at that, mate. Look at that. Look at that. Top of the range. £2.99 that was. Anyway, let's move on to the men's singles. We only know one semi-final because obviously 2 quarterfinals in action. We'll give some in-running tips on the quarterfinals, what we know. But it looks a pretty straightforward affair. Dominic Thiem up against Cecchino, who's been absolutely a revelation this tournament. Cecchinato, whatever his name is. Alex, you could pronounce it for me. But Dominic Thiem, I know we were talking about Zverev with his blisters, but I thought Thiem was absolutely fantastic, really fantastic in that game. And I think, obviously Nadal struggling today, 1-set, but I think Nadal might have a test if he plays Thiem in the final. But is there any way that Cecchinato can continue this? Is there any way that he continue? Yeah, and before you mentioned about match fixing and stuff like that, that was Cecchinato on the text to say, back me to win 3-2, but I've ignored it. So what do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I think over 3.5 sets at 2.1, my only play. I think that Cecchinato should win at least one set against Dominic Thiem. It's not tough to win against a set against Thiem. Yes, Zverev was injured. This is why he lost 3-0. Someone is Flash is at the door.
It's my son. He won't go.
Cecchinato was watching the stream and he said, "No, I said bet against me 3-0."
yeah,
correct.
Hang on a second. If it's Marco, tell him I'm out.
If it's Marco, yeah, because if our viewers don't know, Marco Cecchinato was banned for betting against for doing all this crappy stuff about betting on his matches, losing on purpose, and right now this is why Nigel is having a laugh. If Marco is at the door, bet against me.
Well, I mean, so you think that he could get a set? I mean, if you look at the head-to-heads, though, Alex. I mean, everyone, if you want to join this, I mean, Cecchinato won on clay. They've in their previous meeting. He's basically beaten him on clay. He took a set off him as well. So he's not going to go into his first semi-final too worried. But it's all about whether he can hold his nerves, isn't it?
1 point black. I would say people it's more about
people are thinking in Wales back there, and he cannot concentrate.
What's going on?
I got this crew here playing beanbag toss. Sorry, life in Southern California is hard.
Can't you tell him we're doing a very, very high. We're doing a very high.
This is a very important moment. I know.
What's going on? Can you ask them what they think about Cecchinato? You reckon he'll win 2-0?
Exactly. Go on the street. What do you think about Cecchinato?
Well, I have some takes on Cecchinato, and if you haven't researched or read about the story about his match fixing scandal, it's worth going back and kind of digging it up. He has kind of this assumption of innocence because his case in the Italian courts was overturned. From all of the details I've seen, the reason that they've overturned it wasn't because they found him innocent or because there wasn't any evidence. The evidence against him was like overwhelming. That he almost certainly, gave his mate a good amount of information that he was intending to lose this match and move on to his next stop on tour. He bought his plane ticket before he left, before he played that match in Morocco, and almost certainly there was some impropriety there, and I wouldn't at all be surprised if the tennis integrity unit slaps down some kind of suspension on him after the French Open is over. But specifically, and whether that actually has a mental impact on him, whether all these stories being dug up, has a factor in how he performs against Team, I think is a valid question. Strictly on form, strictly on ability, Cecchinato has been able to get this far because he's putting incredible topspin on the ball. All throughout this run on the French Open, whenever he's been in trouble, he's been able to find just unbelievable, like Nadal level RPMs of topspin on his forehand to get himself out of trouble. The fact that he was down 5-2 to Nole in the fourth set and then fought all the way back to take it to a tiebreak, and then that tiebreak was an instant classic. Some of the best tennis I've seen in 2018, let alone in this French Open. And so if you haven't caught the replay of that, definitely go back and watch the replay of that fourth set tiebreak between Cecchinato and Nole. It was fantastic. And the fact that he was able to overcome all that adversity and win that match against Nole as such a prohibitive underdog was spectacularly impressive. All that said, Team is going to eat him alive. Team has the game, and Team on Philippe Chatrier is so unbelievably, so much. I completely missed this when I was handicapping Zverev Team. The fact that they were playing on Chatrier, the fact that it was going to be a little bit wet. When it's a little wet, and he's the one that's dictating the power and the point, and he's the one that knows this court so exceptionally well. That was never even going to be a contest from even aside from whatever was going on with Zverev's hamstring and his blisters and stuff. So Team, I think, eats Cecchinato alive in this one 3-0, and I would bet that accordingly. I don't think they can make the game's handicap high enough, and I'll probably be finding various ways to support Team making it to his first ever Slam final.
So 2 for Team. I think Team will win pretty easy. So do you think there's any way that Cecchinato can keep this extraordinary run going in Paris, or is it going to be straightforward for Dominic Thiem?
No, of course I do. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked or by any stretch of the imagination if Cecchinato wins this match outright. I don't understand. I mean, this line is basically making out Team to be some kind of like world-beating Nadal level elite. I mean, he's not on that kind of level to warrant this kind of 1.1 money line. It's ridiculous. Cecchinato has every chance of winning this match. Why not? It's a Grand Slam semifinal. He's been playing solid. Look, at this point, the only thing that separates players is your belief and your mentality when you step on the court. And Team has been very nervy and shaky in a lot of his matches against Nishikori, against Tsitsipas, even against another Italian, Berrettini. He showed nerves there. So my favorite play on this match, I was actually amazed that this opened at 32 total games. I mean, I think that's a banker right there. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, not in the least, if Cecchinato wins this match outright. I don't know why people are thinking Team is going to be like a runaway game for him. I don't think so at all.
I think the thing is, it's because it's his first big semi-finals, his first real big match, and we've seen so many great players come into semi-finals and people who have got to this level and never been able to get any further, and it's just whether he can live to the expectation. But what I saw in that tie-break yesterday showed me that this one thing this boy has got. He's got lots of balls and he's got lots of guts. He's a fighter.
Yeah. Absolutely, and especially in the pressure moments, he delivers and he keeps his nerve, and that's something to really respect. You can't take that for granted.
Maybe it could be money running. So, would you take the price on Cecchinato to win it outright?
I mean, sure. I'd put a little stake on that. Why not? Even a +2.5 to win a set, or or the game handicap, whatever, 7.35 looks like right now on the money line. Sure, why not? Take a pop with that, But I prefer the over.
That does look high, doesn't it? That does look high because the team does throw away a lot of sets, doesn't he? I mean, he has lots of concentration. He loses sets. 7.5 on the handicap does look a bit strong.
Absolutely.
This is why the over 3.5. Over 3.5 sets at 2.1 makes sense. Over 7 plus over 7.5 games on the Asian handicap at 1.95 makes sense. I think that a lot of plays against Thiem makes sense. I'm not saying that Thiem will not win this match, but I think that it will be tougher than expected, that the bookies are expecting to be. I think that Cecchinato will play his chance. He is the first time in his career in the Grand Slam semi-final, so he will give everything against. And if he did it against Djokovic, why not to do it also against him?
I think what you're saying, Alex, the only one who doesn't make any sense is Wildcapper. That's what you're trying to say, basically. I know what you're getting, Alex. I know exactly what you're getting. The opinion a little bit.
He said zero. He says plus 7.5 games of Asian handicap makes sense.
Well, I'm Wildcapper. Have you got any prices in running on the beanbag challenge?
Sorry, I'm 2-0 so far. Every time I keep backing the underdog, and the underdog keeps paying. So why stop now, right? We'll take the underdog again. They're giving me a price of 2.25 for. Okay, that works. I'm good.
Put me 100.
Do you know what?
Put me 100.
Can I tell you something? If I went to work in London and I said to them, it's lunchtime, does anyone want a game of beanbags? They'd look at me like I was completely mad. They'd look at me like I've lost the plot completely. We don't go around our lunch break and play beanbags in London town. That is something they would look at me like I'd lost my marbles. Anyway, let's before we go on to that, we'll talk about the marbles and we'll talk about the beanbags in a minute. But there's 2 quarterfinals. The down 1 set all. Del Potro in a titanic battle with Cilic. Anybody got any views in play on these games that we're going to come back tomorrow?
Nadal.
George
I think
is saying. Okay,
go
ahead.
Sorry, Alex. Sorry about it. Go on, Alex. Sorry.
No, Nigel. George is saying that Nigel, I have been hard on you, but you always maintained your composure in your replies. So you have a fan there.
George, I do it biting. I do it biting his lip. Thanks, George. No, to be honest with you, it's all opinions, and as long as people watching, people talk about it, it's all that matters, isn't it? You got good things, bad things. That's life. But let's talk about the games. So, Alex, anything you fancy in running on these 2 quarterfinals?
No, nothing. I think that. Nadal lost his first set, but he will win the match. The rain delay was exactly what he needed. If it wasn't for that rain delay, probably Diego Schwartzman would have 2-0 on the number of sets right now. Del Potro 6-6, 5-5 in the first tiebreak, and going on from there. I think that he looked the better player. He will win that game. Nothing more than what we discussed 2 days ago.
Okay. Anything to add to that, boys? Anything, Taif, anything you fancy?
No, really, no. I mean, they're already underway. I don't know. It's 6-6, 5-5. I mean, what are you going to do? It's a coin flip right now.
Thanks, Taif, for words of wisdom. And welcome. Anything there?
I'll shed this light of info on Cilic Delpo. This is not the first time that Cilic has been interrupted due to rain in the middle of a tiebreak this season. So he does have that experience kind of in his back pocket. I don't know if you guys remember. It didn't go well for him last time, but he is
that experience. That experience.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't cut out in the tiebreak. That we're talking about experience here. No, it happened to him. That's nothing to do with his experience.
Well, he's experienced it once, and he's got he knows. Okay, I got to come out here, and I know how to. I know that I'm going to have instantaneous level. I learned my lesson from when he played Monfils in Rio. They got delayed in a second set tiebreak. They came back out the next day, and he lost. A couple tiebreak points, and the match was over. I think that Cilic, if he expects to win this match, he's got to win this set. He's got to win this tiebreak. I would expect him to come out firing and do some damage early. Maybe even get an early break on Delpo if he can kind of capture the momentum of winning the first set tiebreak. And at that point, I'm all in on Delpo coming back to win this thing 3-1, 3-2, something like that. It should be a great match. It wasn't very exciting so far, but I think day 2 of this match will offer some more drama. As far as Nadal goes, I could see, he's been a little bit of a slow starter in this tournament. I think expect him to close out the second set given his lead at this point. But if Schwartzman can get a foothold in the third set, we might see this one go 5, and that would be pretty spectacular too. I know the fans want that. So I'm hoping for 2 kind of longer sets tomorrow, not 2 matches that fizzle out.
One of our viewers is saying, Tomorino is saying, Cilic lost repeatedly to Del Potro and seems to have figured out how to play, hammering his backhand. I think Cilic has made good adjustments since their previous matches.
Well, one thing, it's going to be a long one. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to come down to wins the big points. It's going to be very, very close. Probably a couple more tiebreaks in the game as well. Go on, Tyve.
No, I was just gonna say, it's the opening set. Del Potro had a couple of break points, and he missed out on those opportunities. They're in a dead heat. The time delay can benefit both players. They both have the whole day to adjust and talk tactics. So, I mean, there's no telling what's gonna happen. It's
Well, that's what we're here to do, Ty. That's what we're here to do. We've got to tell people what's going to happen. We can't say we don't know what's going to happen. That's what we get paid the big money for. Come on.
The match started and don't save your money. There's no reason to bet live, unless you see some kind of opening while it's playing out. Right now, there's no matches until tomorrow. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think Taif is staying with Rent right now. If you see his background there, he lost 2 bankrolls already in the first week of Roland Garros, and now he's with Rent there. And
I'm surprised the TV's still there.
Sloane Stephens.
Surprised the TV's still there, Ty.
It's gonna go. It's gonna get out soon.
Listen, that's our preview of the semi-finals. That's our preview of the semis. If anybody wants to follow any of us on Twitter, give us your Twitter handle. Alex, your Twitter handle is?
Meet for tips.
For tips. Ty, if anyone wants to follow you and your big bets on the tennis, what's the Twitter handle to follow you?
TYFE11. And I don't take Twitter seriously whatsoever, so it's like a video game for me. I prefer talking.
Exactly. But Whale Capper, what wants to follow you? Man in form, what are we going to go?
At Whale_Capper. Although it's pretty easy to find me on and yeah. Do you guys have predictions for what the other semifinal, how it will go? Let's say it's Nadal Del Potro. Does that interest you guys?
Yeah, tough question.
To be fair, I think it's very, very hard to say because I think it's impossible to have a view now because one of them could come through a fight. That Cilic Del Potro could be 13-11 in the final set. And if that's the case and Nadal wraps this up in an hour and 20 minutes, it's a very different. I think it's really hard to have a view now because we don't know what state the two of them are going to be into when they reach a semi-final. I think we might be able to do another video tomorrow if around, or we maybe do something or something on Twitter to put up. But I think it's very hard to have a view. I mean, you've got to say Nadal, but if Nadal's involved in a 5-set and Thriller and Delpo comes through in straight sets, it's a tough one to call.
Does the fact that Nadal dropped a set, does that offer up a chink in the armor that all the rest of the players on tour can look at and say he's cut? He's not as good as he was last year. We have a chance to win this title. Does that influence anyone else's thinking?
Well, the problem is there isn't many people left. There isn't many people left in it. If he lost the first set, in the first round, it'd be different. But the players he's got a fantastic head-to-head record against. And I think there's probably been more of an overreaction to him. I think there'd be a more overreaction to make him more better price to go in again.
I would argue that last year, Nadal, not only was he better than this year's Nadal, we talked about that on Monday, but he built into the tournament and got more and more untouchable as the level got harder, which was incredible and impressive. He was unstoppable versus Team in the semis. He was unstoppable versus Stan in the final. And I wouldn't be surprised if this does give some of the players a little bit of a mental edge that, hey, I can get a set. He's not playing his best tennis right now. He's looking a little battle worn. We know at least last year he was going for number 10. It was a lot more meaningful than whatever number 11 means to him. I mean, who knows, I guess. But there was a little bit of a motivational edge to him last year that I think really influenced the fact that he had his foot on the gas and just got better and better and better every match. And I'm not seeing that this year. So I'm not going to be overwhelmingly supporting Nadal in the semifinals or finals this year. I think he's going to have a little bit tougher test than I would expect the bookmakers are going to line this, at least the way that they've lined all the rest of these Nadal matches.
I think that he will win the tournament, but he was lucky with the draw, incredible lucky with the draw till here, and I think that his first major opponent will come in the semifinals. Doesn't matter if it will be Cilic or Del Potro. A lot tougher than Schwartzman, than whatever he played till now. So I still think that he can win this, and I don't know what to say about not dropping a set. Nigel's future. Everybody was on him on Twitter. You lost. He lost a set. What we're doing here?
No one said. Nobody said a word. Nobody said a word until literally 30 seconds after he dropped that set, and everyone was all out. It's typical.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
If Del Potro comes through and wins tomorrow, I'll post a ticket that'll make you feel better. Because if Nadal had gone 3-0, I had so many parlays with Nadal 3-0 in them, and man, that was a heartbreaker. I think the whole universe was shocked that Nadal dropped that first set to Schwartzman.
Deservedly so. Schwartzman played brilliant. He was brilliant first set, absolutely brilliant. He was the best he could play, and whether he can maintain that, whether he can do it again. But I think his level was very impressive. Right, it's been enjoyable. Yeah, Alex, when are we back? When are we talking? Sorry, Taif. So do you want to say something there, mate?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think the profile of a player like Schwartzman is the only type of player that can offer Nadal the challenge. He's like a road runner, and unlike the big boys like Del Potro and Cilic, and I don't think it's necessarily that the Nadal isn't as good as he was last year. I think it's more of the case that the players around him are getting better. They're evolving and they're gaining more experience. I think they're catching up to Nadal rather than his level dropping necessarily. I think with experience, you only get better. Like a fine wine, you get better. So I don't know about that. Either way, I
thought you were summing me up there, Taif. I thought you were explaining me. I'm like a fine wine with age.
Oh, you are.
Yeah. I know I am. I know. I'm a fine bottle of red.
God bless you, Nigel.
Thank you very much, Alex. When are we back?
Mute.
I think he's
muted. I can't hear you, Alex. We can't hear you, mate. Alex, can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Oh, we will be back on Friday same time. We will be back on Friday same time talking final matches, women's and men's. And be careful, Will. There are 3 gorgeous women on behind you. They are talking about you right now. I can see that on your video. So I think that you should go and buy them Coke or something.
Have you got? Is there really? Pan the camera around then, Whale Cap. Let's have a look. We all have a look. Where are they? Oh yeah.
We all want to have.
Oh yeah. Oh good. Where's that? Where are you? Where are you now?
Oh, I'm sitting outside in the courtyard outside my office. Beautiful day.
Oh, right. Lovely.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's been Sports Book Review.
Can't beat this. Can't beat this.
I know. You got the life. You've got the life. That's why you're my hero. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us
wrap up
over the last hour or so. Yeah, we're going to wrap up. Thanks very much for joining us, Alex. All the best for the tips tomorrow. Well, Kappa, thank you very much for joining us as usual. And Taif, thank you very much for coming along, and hopefully we'll speak to you before the end of the tournament.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
See you all on Friday. Take care. Good luck with your bets. All the best.
Good luck.